What's going on, guys? Amazing Watch here, back with another video, and today we're going to be going over some units that can counter the Goddess Elizabeth comp. So let's get into it. Alright, so as you guys know, I actually recorded a video called the 06 Goddess Elizabeth Showcase, and in that video I did not use Goddess Elizabeth, man. It was a meme that I didn't have her, and I was using a comp that could counter the Goddess Elizabeth team. And so in this video, I wanted to go over some units that you can actually use to counter this comp in some certain scenarios, and some that can actually guaranteed counter this comp if you have the gear built and if you have the units built up very well. So the first group of units I'm going to go over is going to be the Zeldris, Estarossa, and Escanor comp. So this comp right here, I've actually been doing some testing with this comp, and it does work really well to counter the Goddess Elizabeth team. Basically what you do is you're going to rush your ult on Escanor while killing the King or the Goddess Ellie, and then you're also going to be setting up counters with Estarossa to bait the attacks into him. You also have Zeldris here for recovery disable right here, and also for the ult reduction skill. He's also increasing Estarossa and his self by 12% for basic stats because of Zeldris' passive, which is very powerful. And this team is able to just nuke down each unit on the Goddess Elizabeth comp just by taking out the revive and then Escanor ulting the Lost Vein, one-shotting him. And yeah, it's a really good comp. If you guys have seen me do some testing with it, even Shogun's done some testing with it if you've seen on his channel to counter that comp. But this is a very good core right here of units that you can use if you want to counter the Liz team. If you guys are thinking of sub-slot units for that team, I actually love to bring Athena on that comp. And the reason for bringing Athena is because once you go for the nuke on one of the units, it's going to deplete the 2 ultimate move gauge of all the enemies on their turn the moment you kill the unit. So let's say I go for the kill on King and he's already revived, and I go for the kill, he dies, and Lost Vein and Goddess Elizabeth have their ultimates. They're going to lose 2 ultimate move gauge orbs the moment the King dies, which is actually insane, man. And people in gear, they really don't understand how that works. I don't think they've really seen Athena work like that, but she is a really good sub-slot unit, man. And Athena does have really high base CC, which is another thing to note as well. Other units you can run on this comp would probably be like Lost Vein instead of Escanor. You can also run maybe like Tank Diane instead of Estarossa. You got some options, but I do think this core right here will be the most efficient team if you're trying to just destroy those Goddess Elizabeth comps. We also have some sleeper picks right here, being the Pierce comp. So I do think this team can actually beat the Goddess Elizabeth team if you go first. If you go first with this team and you top deck another Pierce card with either Melee or Omega Rugal, you can definitely one-shot the team right there with this comp. It is definitely very powerful if you're able to get the Pierce cards off, because no one's really running Red King with their Goddess Elizabeth team. But if they are running Red King in that case, then you can't really beat that using Pierce. But that's just a notable team if you do go first that can actually beat the Liz comp. I've seen it a few times beat it. Scene's actually done a video on that as well, beating them. Yeah, the Pierce team does work very well if you can go first and actually attack before Liz puts up her shield. That's the most important thing to note about that. Another combo of units I think that could work pretty well to counter the Goddess Elizabeth team is also going to be Kyo and Monspeed. So this combo right here is a pretty powerful nuking comp if you're trying to just get a unit down. Because the way Kyo's passive works is that he applies the ignites every turn, just 2 ignites, and he gets damage reduction for his allies. And so Monspeed is going to be your main DPS on the team because he's going to increase the damage dealt on ignited heroes by 100%, and he also has weak point, which is going to do 3 times the damage because of the debuffed enemy. So this card right here on Monspeed is going to be doing a ton of damage, and he also has ult reduction when deleting skills as well, which is a very powerful ability right there. So I do think that this comp can actually work together pretty well for like sub units on this team. You could run like Green Escanor as well for the more ignites. I have seen maybe like an alt rush comp with this team as well, but mainly what you want to do is just stack up as many ignites on the enemy comp and just sealing their recovery. Maybe you could bring like Zeldris. Actually, Zeldris on this comp would actually work pretty well. You could do like Zeldris, Monspeed, and Kyo. That could be a pretty good comp right there. But yeah, I do see some viability with Kyo and Monspeed to counter the Liz comp. I haven't really seen it much in testing though, but that is definitely a possibility. Alright, so now that we've went over all the units we have in game, I wanted to go over just 2 more units that are going to be coming out in the future that actually do counter the Goddess Elizabeth comp as well. So the first unit I'm going to be going over now is going to be Droll. So Droll, if you guys don't know how green Droll works, basically for his passive, every time an enemy's ultimate move reaches 5, he's going to disable ultimate moves for 2 turns. And this is going to work in tandem with Red Zeldris, because Red Zeldris is going to be able to disable the recovery every time on the king, so that they can't cleanse and use their ultimates, which is just a super powerful combo, man. Being that Zeldris and Droll are both commandments, Zeldris is also going to increase the basic stats of the team as well. And Droll's commandment, if you guys don't know about it, it actually applies a buff that increases resistance by 30% for 3 turns every time an ally or enemy receives damage skills in PvP. So every time he takes damage, or anyone on his team takes damage, they're going to apply a solidify effect, which is, you know, making them more tanky and able to just tank more hits. And it really is insane, man. That comp is really powerful. Another thing to note about Green Droll is he has detonate single target, which is going to make it so he does 20% per ultimate move gauge orb on the enemy. And so he's going to be doing about double damage when they have max ult gauge, and they can't ult anyway. So you see the synergy right here, man. It's just so powerful. I do think that Green Droll, Red Zeldris, and maybe Estarossa on that comp could be a really powerful counter to the Goddess Elizabeth team. We're gonna have to see and practice it when the team does actually drop on global, but yeah, that's just a really notable mention right here, the Green Droll. And the final unit here is going to be Green Easton, and the reason Green Easton counters the comp as well is because what she does on her level 2 of her second card is she's going to disable recovery seals and prevents the ultimate move gauge from filling up on the enemies for 2 turns. And so what you do when you run Easton is you actually bring either Green Gother or Red Gother, and you rank this up first turn and disable the recovery and prevent the ultimate move gauge from filling. And it's a very powerful combo because the enemy can't get their ult gauge and they can't cleanse off the debuff that they're getting, and so you also have the weak point here to just deal a ton of damage on the comp. So it is just a very powerful team, man. So that's going to be another notable unit that will counter the Goddess Elizabeth comp. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I just wanted to go over some units that could counter this menace of a unit, man. No one likes Goddess Elizabeth, really. Like, she is obviously a good unit, but she is a toxic unit, and that's a fact. So we want to make sure we're able to counter this unit, man, because we don't want to deal with her anymore. So that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.